What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to yet another episode of JLU NBCM Vlogs. My name is Alex and today we're here to talk about... my voice is going away. We are going to do this again. So, take 2. Welcome back everyone. We are basically here to talk about ChangChun. Roll that intro. Alright guys, so welcome back. As I've already said it about 50, 100, I don't know, 200 times. Anyway, today we are talking about ChangChun. And the reason why is very simple. You will be coming here for a number of years, and why wouldn't you, or why shouldn't you know what kind of place this is? After all, it will become your home to a certain extent. Anyway, reason number 1, actually that's not even the point, that was from one of the previous videos. Alright then, so the first thing to know about ChangChun is that it's a provincial capital, which means it is actually a relatively modern city. So before I came here, I had zero expectations. I really had no idea what kind of place this would be, and I was pleasantly surprised. That was 3 years ago, and I can tell you that the ChangChun I got to know at the time is nothing like the ChangChun as it is today. So, number 1, it's a huge city, not necessarily for the area it covers, but in terms of its population. It's an important thing because if you come from one of those countries or areas, in a way, of the world where you have been surrounded by a modest amount of people, then this will be a major change. And since most of them will be from a completely different cultural background, you will almost be like a unicorn. So you better get ready. So there you go. Number 1, this is actually a big city. Number 2, as I've already mentioned, it's got everything that you need. It develops at such an enormous rate that it's almost hard to keep up with it. So as I said, when I came, there were already quite a few shopping centers, bars, clubs. If you're not interested in these, well, there you go. But if you are, you will be happy to hear that even back then there were more. Plenty of shops, of course. Now, all of these things are still around, plus a whole lot more. So there's something about this city in terms of its shopping centers. They just keep popping up everywhere. And I guess it's a great way to congregate a large amount of people and to make them spend a lot of money. So these shopping centers are incredibly modern and very well catered for everybody's needs. So they normally come with a whole lot of entertainment, such as cinemas. There's a whole gaming section of almost every one of these shopping centers, where you can go and literally play. Now obviously it's not something that most of you would be into, but it's not really playing in a way where you would think. Basically, if you're into computer games, virtual reality and all this futuristic technology, this is what I mean. This is where people hang out and just chill. So number 2, it is a very modern city, but only at the more developed area. Number 3 is the opposite. It can also be extremely poor, and this is one of those interesting things that I found. The contrast between the more modern regions side by side with some of the poorest places I've actually ever visited, and it's rather neglected as well. So the place itself is one of those hybrid things between modern and futuristic sites, such as lit up buildings and all these cool architectural designs. And then you look around, or you turn around across the street, you see these slums, and nobody seems to really care about them or do anything about them. So number 2 is that although this place is very modern, number 3, it can also be kinda poor. Number 4, there are just more and more people and more cars. So if you ever hit the roads, which you will have to, then get ready for some ridiculous traffic jams. Now obviously it's part of a big city life setting, but here there is absolutely no way of expanding the width of roads or even building new ones. Doesn't matter how much they try to improve the overall infrastructure of the city, there seems to be this tendency of getting ever more people with a whole lot of new cars, and so you will at some stage of your day have to prepare ahead according to the area you're based at, because you could easily be late big time. This place is so crowded at times, but then at other times it's just dead. So it's amazing to see how the number of people, how the numbers shift based on, again, the actual hour of the day you're attempting to go outside. So during rush hours, it takes hours to get to places. So it's something that you will have to bear in mind. If you're running late or running on time, actually, you will have to prepare. But at other times, it's just easy to whiz by and through the city, so that's not going to be a problem. Point number 4 is that this place, as cool as it is that it's a developing place, that's also a problem. It's a huge construction site. It's a never-ending project. As soon as something is up and running, something else is now about to be built, which can be quite inconvenient because, of course, everything is dusty, dirty. Once it starts raining, it's just a huge ass muddy area, let alone when it starts to snow. And for whatever reason, they start working, although they work throughout the year, most of these projects start before winter. So right now, it's November. Wherever I go, this place is torn apart. There are huge ass machines. Millions of people actually are working on the streets. 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't even know anymore. Either way, in fact, it's going to be the last point. This city is cheap, and I guess most of you will be relatively glad to hear that. But this really is a cheap city, not only in terms of the general average in China, but I would say that out of all the places that I've been to, this one is by far one of the most affordable places to hang out at, to innovate in general, stay around. Everything is cheap, but of course, on the other hand, you have some luxurious items and very expensive restaurants. Don't get me wrong, you can spend all your money, and people easily do. However, if you're good at budgeting, or if you simply just don't have that much money and so you can't afford to spend, you don't have to worry about staying hungry or not being able to clothe yourself. This really is a cheap place to hang around. And so for that reason, most of my friends, and of course I'm very much the same, we go out most nights of the week, whether it's for a dinner or going to a bar, going to watch a movie, for example, or just hang around the city in general. It's a very, very affordable thing to do. So with that all being said, I really hope that you find this video useful. Obviously, you will have to come here to really experience what it's like to be around ChangChun, in and around ChangChun. You should also hit up some of your friends if you've got any already based in this city to learn as much as you can, because this will really help you once you get here. If you don't have anyone to turn to, do make sure to check out our other videos, go on the website, like our Facebook page, and then follow us on Instagram, because we always try to keep you guys updated with all sorts of relevant and sometimes irrelevant stuff as well. But anyway, together we believe that through these social media platforms, you should be able to come here relatively well prepared and start your journey as a medical student and as a ChangChun resident. Anyway, so hit that like button if you haven't already, share, comment and subscribe, because it really helps our little channel to grow and reach even more people. And I'll see you in another video.